the Kodokuna Raida YouTube channel. Woo!
So after I got the Tanto, I had to head into the government inspection site to get a safety check so that I could register the car. And in Japan that's called a shakan. So I'm going to take you through what's happening here. So I'm in line now after doing the paperwork, and here's one of the inspectors on the right. So we'll follow what he's going to do with this lady here. So she gets out of the car, opens up her bonnet, and the inspector checks the engine number and the brake fluid, and make sure everything under the engine bay there looks okay. She gets back in the car, toots a horn, and wiper blades, washer, flashing units, brake lights, reverse lights. He's just making sure everything's okay. He gets in there, checks that the dash lights are working, that your seatbelt light is working, when you plug your seatbelt in and the light goes off in the dash. So he's just doing all those preliminary safety checks of the car, and then he's got a little box there on that white sheet that he puts his stamp on. So he's coming back to me now, checking everything. He didn't actually ask me to check the engine number on mine, so I don't know why he didn't worry about that time. So then you sit in line. Now I was probably sitting in line here waiting for about 20 minutes till it was my turn, but you've just got to be patient. So we can see another inspection coming up here on the left. The man comes along, the lady gets out of her car. Here she comes, opens up the bonnet for him to check the engine number and everything under there, that it lines up with the paperwork. Checking. Now you'll see a lot of women down here at these government inspection sites, because a lot of these are office ladies from car yards and from new car dealers, that they come down here to get the inspection done, make sure everything's okay. And it's easy, but you don't see many people like me down here, because Japanese people usually don't do this themselves, so it's very rare. See now in the reflection of the windscreen there, that little green and yellow tag, that's just to let them know that I'm not a dealer, and so I'm not sure of everything that goes on, so there's somebody will come and talk to me all the time. Just make sure I'm doing everything all right. So we're going to watch this lady in front now with her car. So the first check you have with your car is emission, to make sure that everything's okay. So she'll pull up here. You'll see the line there, it says tomare, so that's for me to stop. So she'll jump out of her car now, and she'll slip a bit of paper in this machine here. Here it goes. So if everything's okay, it'll put its little stamp. She picks up that metal tube and she puts it into the exhaust. So now that's checking for emission on the car. You'll see under the red light there, that's the red writing there, so it changed, so it's saying now it's checking. I just sped it up a little bit. The man comes over and has a little chat with the nice lady, so everything's okay, and she's waiting to move on. So she'll go on now, and I'm allowed to move on and do my emission control. So there's nothing here much I can tell you, so I'll just, you can see on the ground there again, tomare, to stop, and I speed it up here again a little bit, just so. Now I've put the tube in my emission. I had no problems with the emission on my car, so I'm moving forward here. And so the man comes over now, the inspector, and he's helping me. He's telling me to go right up here onto the rollers. So you'll see the 4 rollers there.
Keep going.
He's just saying go forward, go forward. So, get the wheels on the roller. Very helpful. Here we go. It's on the rollers now. So the first thing that they check, this headlight machine comes over, and he'll line up with the front headlight. Here we go. So you see, so driver there, the inspector there says, bring your car up to 40 kilometers an hour. When you get 40 kilometers an hour, to flash your headlight. you'll see the little headlight refresh, and there I go. So I was at 40 kilometers an hour. So the speed knows, that machine knows now that you've done your 40 kilometers an hour, your speedo's right. So now this machine is checking your headlights. I've just sped it up again because it takes a little while. So I've just sped the speed up. So first you're on low beam. It'll check the level on 1, then it'll switch over. It's all completely automatic. There's no one controlling it. Checks the other one. Then I've put it on high beam now and it's checking. And it says, yeah, my lights are okay, so it'll pull off. So the first one now, they're going to check my brake. So the rollers come up and it picks the car up to about 40 kilometers an hour again. And when it gets up there, the lights start flashing and you put your foot on the brake and stop. So it's checking that all your brakes are working okay. So now he's asking me to put on my side brake or emergency brake or hand brake, whatever you want to call it. So put that on and the back rollers will check that it's going to support the car and stop. So I did one check and then released the hand brake and with the side brake, and then he just said one more time and everything was fine, no problems. And now I move forward onto the hoist, and this inspector here is going to check underneath the car. So we'll just go forward there and stop. We hand over all our documents again to the inspector.
Side braking, engine off.
Just tell me there, put the side brake on, put in neutral, engine off. They lift you up here and then they start with all the inspections under the car, and you'll hear them knocking. They've got this little wooden handled hammer and he goes around and he's knocking and checking everything. I'll just be quiet and you'll hear him knocking. There he goes. Just making sure that everything's right, everything's tight, nothing's loose. And everything was no problems. You just stay in the car the whole time, you don't get out. And he said to me everything's okay, so he lowers me down, he puts his little stamp in the little box where it needs to go.
Okay. Oh, nice.
And my inspection's done. I passed, no problem. They said everything's okay and that I should go out to car park area number 2 just outside the shed here and park, and then you head back into the office and finish your paperwork and pay all your money and all your inspections done. They'll give you a new number plate that I had to get. So I go and park over there next to that white car. You'll see all these others still lined up waiting to go through. Hundreds of cars go through here all day, hundreds of them. And we pull back in here and go get our registration and we can drive the car.
Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. And always remember, drive like you know each other. See you next time. Bye bye.